All right, welcome back. We continue with the day's discussion. We move on to the next family conversation for the day, and this is all about the establishment of sexual and gender-based violence specialized courts, which is a project that has been done under the International Association of Women Judges. We are still in that space where we are celebrating International Women's Day just in the past week, but in line with that, we're also going to be taking note of the first ever International Day of Women Judges that was actually marked on the 10th of this month. Given it was the first one, it is definitely a way to acknowledge and honor women judges here in our country. Now, this is a conversation that we're going to be having with a lady judge who will be with us in just a bit, and we welcome you to share with us your thoughts in regards to this. The hashtag we are using is Good Morning Kenya. At KBC Channel 1 ever remains to be the official station handle. My handle is at Jain Wambui. If you have any questions in regards to this conversation, feel free to send them through. We will be addressing them as and when they do come in. I know you've already gotten a sneak peek of who our guest is this morning, but let me now just rope her in. Again, as I mentioned, we have a lady judge with us in this studio this morning. That is Lady Justice Maureen Anyango, who is the principal judge at the Employment and Labor Relations Court. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for welcoming me to
Karibu sana. Now, first things first, we want to start to even help our viewers understand what the International Association of Women Judges, the Kenyan chapter specifically, is all about, because for some of us, they didn't even know there was an association for women judges. Tell us a bit about it.
So the International Association of Kenya, the International Association of Women Judges, the Kenya chapter, is actually an old association. It was established in 1993.
Yes.
When there were only 2 women judges in Kenya, that is Lady Justice Effie Owuor and Lady Justice Joyce Alwoch. And even the magistrates were very few. The women magistrates were very few. So it was started by the 2 judges, lady judges, and Justice Nambuye, Roslyn Nambuye, who is still in the judiciary.
Yes.
She's now the senior most judge in the judiciary. She's in the Court of Appeal. The other 2, Justice Effie Owuor and Joyce Alwoch, are since retired. But now we have quite a number of judges and a number of magistrates. In fact, the magistrates are the majority because magistrates are generally more than judges. So the judges, we have a total membership of almost 200 of women judges and magistrates, spanning all the way from the Court of Appeal to the magistracy. So there are members in the Court of Appeal, members in the High Court, and courts of equal status, and then we have membership among the magistrates. We even have male judges who are our members.
Oh, wow. Supporting the cause.
Supporting the cause.
Now, what are the main functions? Maybe you could just tell us a bit about that. The main function
is to advocate for justice for women and children. And also, for women means women in the judiciary, women in the justice sector, and then women in
at
general,
large, yes.
and the children. Children, we do not we represent all children, not just women, I mean girls, but also boys.
Okay.
Yes, because when they come to the judiciary, it's a strange place for them. They are lost, so they need guidance, they need support. And that is why the women judges are fighting for their cause, promoting their cause.
All right.
Yes.
Now, just going through the International Association of Women Judges, the main vision is anchored around gender equity and equality. We have social justice and fair representation. You know, looking even in this day and time, why are this vital for you as a lady judge?
Our mission specifically says to promote access to justice for women and children through gender parity, development of jurisprudence, and awareness creation, and then empowerment and mentorship. Women are still not at the same level as men. So it is a cause that we keep fighting for.
Yes.
And then women have special needs that were never taken into account when the system was male-dominated. If you listen to Lady Justice Alwoch speaking, I have listened to her. She says when she was appointed, not just Lady Effie Owuor, when she was appointed, there was even no toilet for a woman judge in the judiciary.
Oh, wow.
So she, because she couldn't go to the male toilet. So you can see where we've come from. So there was a need to do that. Then women who come to court, some of them come with children. Some of them are pregnant. Some of them have other needs that are specific to women.
Yes.
The court corridors are dominated by men. In fact, if you look at the population of the people in any courtroom at any one time, it's dominated by men. So it is important for us to represent women. Then women are usually the ones who also cannot afford representation. So it's a place where they are completely lost.
Yes.
They are scared. So we want an environment that can give reassurance to them. Where possible, we are promoting advocates to represent them on pro bono basis. We are also creating, say, spaces where they can, say, breastfeed, where children can play while they are waiting for the court to start. And even small things like places where they can feel comfortable when they are in court, in the court station.
Yes, because that has been one of the longest standing challenges for most women when it comes to the judicial environment. It's not very friendly. Even just leave the judicial environment, you cannot just find a woman peacefully breastfeeding a child without somebody coming and harassing them. And also when it comes to representation, that is also an area that so many women struggle with. Now, just last week, we marked the International Day of Women Judges, the 10th of March.
Yes.
You're already smiling. It was the first one that was celebrated. What did it mean for you?
First of all, you will note that it was coming hot on the heels of International Women's Day.
Yes, back to back.
Celebrated on 8th.
Yes.
Then on 10th, we were celebrating the first ever International Day for Women Judges. So this was a day that judges, the women judges, wanted to be celebrated, and we wanted to celebrate not just judges but all the women in the justice sector.
Yes.
We also wanted to educate the public on what we do as women, the importance of women in society and especially in the justice sector.
Yes.
We want to showcase their girls and young ladies who would want to become judges. We want to mentor them. We want to tell them it's possible. And then generally we also want to create awareness about the challenges that women judges or women in the justice sector face.
Yes.
So those are the main issues we wanted to showcase on this day.
Now, you had also mentioned that there are some male members in the Association for Women Judges.
Yes.
And also looking at this day of celebrating women judges, how can even the male counterparts be part of this conversation? Because we always hear people complaining, fine, we're talking about the women, the girls, supporting them. What about the boy child? Because they cannot exist in a bubble. How then do we also rope in our male counterparts in line with the celebration of women judges in the entire value chain?
When we talk about gender, we talk about male and women.
Yes.
Society is composed of women and men. Society cannot be balanced without participation of both. So even as we are talking about the rights of women, we are not leaving the men behind. All we want is to pull them along so that they work together, because traditionally women have taken the back seat. We just want them to bring them to the table so that they sit with the men. So the men are not missing. They are already in the boardroom.
Yes.
They are already on the table. So what we are doing is to bring the women to sit with them on the table. So that's what we are doing. So we want a situation where when a man is talking, he's talking for both men and women.
Yes.
When a woman is talking, she is talking for both men and women, and not just looking at the gender issue in a lopsided way. That's what we are promoting.
No gender is left behind.
No gender is left behind.
All right.
Yes.
Now that brings me to the project that, of course, was under the International Association of Women Judges, the Kenyan chapter, and that is the recently launched court in Shanzu, Mombasa, the Specialized Gender-Based Violence Court. Give us a bit of background towards this project.
The gender The specialized gender-based courts has been something that we've been fighting for a long time. This is because women who are victims of gender violence are traumatized. A traumatized woman does not want to be kept too long thinking about the trauma.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's like every time they go to court, they remember the trauma they went through.
It's
so
a trigger.
It is re-traumatizing them over and over again. So if the case stays in court for 5 years, a lot of them stay for between 3 and 5 years.
Oh, wow.
It is continuous trauma. Every time the matter is coming up back to court, the victim would recall what they went through. They are going to see the person who was the perpetrator, the cause of their trauma. And they are going to talk about it over and over. So what we want, the reason why we created this is to ensure that they are not re-traumatized over and over. And even if it is to happen, it is within the shortest time possible. Then again, time factor. Some of these victims are children. Some of them are very young children. Imagine an 11-year-old child who has to wait for 5 years until she is 16 years for the case to be heard. It is difficult.
Yes.
Thirdly, a lot of gender-based violence happens in the home. It is somebody they know. They would be threatened, they would be ostracized, they would be compelled, a lot of times forced to drop the case, which means the case goes, they go without justice. So, and again, other times, evidence gets lost. So if we wait for too long, sometimes people lose interest. And even just the time, imagine it's a woman, say a woman who is working, or even if it's work at home, how many times, how much time can she spend going to court? Come this week, come next week, come next month, come next year. They drop off, they lose interest, or they just give up. So we don't want this to happen. That's why we wanted a specialized gender violence-based court, so that their cases can be heard as soon as possible. Again, if we have a special court, it will have special, for example, prosecutors, and
that are specific to this particular cases.
Yes, that are specific.
Yes.
We are also trying to teach people to be victim-centered, so that when you are dealing with this case, you realize that you are dealing with a fragile person, and you do not want to make it worse for them. So we intend to also train. If we have already started, we've undergone training.
Yes.
We already started with the magistrates and the judges. We've done victim-centered trial, so that they know how to handle these people. You know what kind of questions to ask them. You know how to frame your questions. You ask the same question, but you use the right language. You frame it in a particular way. We also want them to feel warm, so that when they come, it's not like the regular court where we deal with, say, criminals only. We want them to feel like a place where they can talk freely. This is a safe space? Where they have a safe space.
Yes.
They can talk freely, and they know that everybody who is dealing with the matter understands how they are feeling.
All right.
We are also dealing with cases where a lot of girls need, or rather, a lot of the victims need a safe house to remove them from the environment where they were defiled or where they were violated. These safe houses are very few. So we've also, this is something we've been promoting, so that every county can open safe houses where these people can be kept. Yes, so this is why we needed a specialized court where all the actors in the justice sector who deal with this particular case are specially trained, and the environment is conducive for this kind of case, and the case is heard within the shortest time possible.
All right.
Yes.
Was there a reasoning towards setting up this first court in Shanzu, Mombasa?
Shanzu, the coast region, has a lot of this kind of cases, gender-based cases.
Yes.
So I know places like Nairobi also has them. We have Kibera and Makadara, but this particular time, a lot of things are concentrated in Nairobi. So it was important that we also spread out, and that is how we went to Shanzu, where there is a courthouse away from the town, and then it's in an area where we also have very high incidences of gender-based violence.
Okay.
Yes.
But are we set to see more of these courts being established, at least in every county, to make accessibility more?
Actually, we intend to. We had to think about where to start.
Yes.
When we were thinking about it, we thought, can we go to Kibera? Can we go to Makadara? Can we go to Kajiado? Eventually, we settled on Shanzu, but it means we still need it in Makadara, we need it in Kibera, we need it in Kajiado, we need it in every station, because gender-based violence is experienced all over the country.
Yes.
So we need it, perhaps for a start, we can start with the one at every county level, and then we spread them down on a needs base. We look at the place where there is concentration of the cases,
yes,
and take them there.
Okay.
This will also depend on how fast we can get the facilities, because we need specialized facilities. We need to train all the actors, and we also need we also need time to do this. So we are doing it gradually,
bringing together all the resources necessary.
Yes.
And one may be watching and wondering, we have been seeing so many cases of sexual and gender-based violence, especially in the last 2.5 years or so that we have been going through this pandemic, with most of the perpetrators being, again, as you have mentioned, people that these victims trust. How sustainable do you think it is to have this cause, as given that we've already established the first one, and that is definitely a step in the right direction? Are they a sustainable project that even somebody at home could want to be part of the cause?
It is sustainable, because all we need is a judicial officer,
yes,
and a courtroom. And once we have that, then the other people, the prosecutors are there, the police are always there.
Yes.
There is no shortage of police, there is no shortage of prosecution. There is shortage of judicial officers, definitely, but the judiciary has been working on recruiting more. So we are recruiting as many as will be required, but it is sustainable, because even if you go to our prisons, the bulk of the people there are people who are in because of gender-based violence, gender-based crimes. You go to the Court of Appeal, I think almost 50% of the appeals, the criminal appeals, are on the same issue. So it is like a pandemic. It's a pandemic that we need to deal with, and that is why we need to mop up resources to deal with this particular issue.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, also, another area of concern has always been the reporting mechanism. You know, when victims have been violated and they go to the police station to report, they also need to be trained on how to handle such cases. Is this part of the preparation and projects that also is in line towards ensuring that justice is actually accessed for these victims, straight from the reporting down to the whole court process?
It is a long chain.
Yes.
Because it starts with the victim, and we are trying to enlighten all the victims to send word out there. When you are violated, go to the police station and report. The police will have to work with a doctor, because this person has to be presented to a doctor immediately to fill the P3 form to preserve the evidence. Then we have the people who are doing the prosecution. When this person needs a safe house, we have to also find stay during the trial. Then after that, we go to the courtroom. Again, we have to find a conducive environment within the courtroom where they can be heard, and then we want to fast track their cases so that it doesn't take too long in the court.
All right.
So it's a whole chain, and when we are dealing with it, we are dealing with it taking into account all the actors in the justice sector.
Now, again, still, given this particular courts are victim-centered, there's also the financial responsibility that normally comes with any case that you are pursuing. How is it going to be different when it comes to this specialized case, or how is the financial aspect being factored in?
Fortunately, within the judiciary, there are funds for say, witnesses. We are also trying to work with the people, with the non-governmental organizations who can promote, who can pay for advocates pro bono advocates. Pro bono means that they are not paid, but of course sometimes there are expenses. There are expenses that they incur that have to be paid for. So we are working with the several NGOs who can also promote the pro bono. We are working with the Law Society. We are asking advocates to sign in and help these people.
Yes.
We are working also with other bodies who can also help in the financing. But again, within the judiciary, we are also working with the people who do the budgeting to ensure that they have funds that will be used for this purpose.
All right.
Yes.
And given it's a whole multi-sectoral approach, private partnerships could also come a long way in just helping and ensuring that these courts are actually sustained for the long run. What other forms of assistance do you feel are necessary and could come even from a common mwananchi, a professional here and there, that could go a long way in assisting this specialized court?
First of all, we want all gender-based cases to be reported. A lot of them, we believe that what has been reported, what we are seeing, is just a fraction.
Yes.
We want all of them to be reported. We want everybody to know that it is wrong to violate a girl, to violate a woman, even the other way around, for the woman to violate a man. So we want all the cases to be reported. Then we want, so that can be done by everybody.
Yes.
If you hear, even if you are a neighbor, you know about it, go to the police station, and take the hand of this girl, take the hand of this woman, lead them to the police station so that they can report. Once that is done, we want doctors to work with us. When this person is brought to the hospital, please remember that they have been violated. Remember that they are feeling ashamed, they are feeling embarrassed, they are feeling it's their fault, they are feeling all emotions. So treat them in a way that doesn't make it worse for them. Do it as fast as you can, and then preserve the evidence. We are working with the police. I know that most police stations are supposed to have a gender desk.
Yes.
Whether they're in operation or not, I cannot confirm, but I know there is that policy that there should be a gender desk. So we want the police to work with us so that they realize that there is this gender desk. They always have the P3 forms, and they are always in contact with the doctor who can deal with the case as fast as possible. We want people who can give shelter to these people. Anybody who can give shelter to these people. Some of them cannot go back home because
to the same environment.
Yes, the environment where they were violated. We want shelter for these people.
Okay.
So some of them, some of the violations lead to, say, pregnancy and so on. So all these things need to be sorted out. We need the Ministry of Education also to help so that some of these girls can even be removed from where they were to go to other places where they are safe. So it is something that the whole community has a part
to play.
Yes.
All right. Now, as we close this conversation, when it comes to more of this gender-based violence courts that the association has been on, and is definitely a step in the right direction, but also the responsibility that all of us have as individuals, as citizens, as protectors, and especially of minors, what would be your word of advice to our viewers this morning? There is your camera.
My word of advice to our viewers is that it is wrong to violate a woman. And when a woman is violated, assist them. Let them go report to the police. Let them go to court. Let nobody try to resolve this matter at home so that the woman or the victim goes without justice. And that gender violence is wrong. We should all work towards stopping it. Thank you.
Beautifully put. Gender violence is wrong. We all have a responsibility when it comes to protecting each and every person. Now, this has been all about the project that was recently launched by the International Association of Women Judges. This is the specialized gender-based violence court in Shanzu, Mombasa. It is the first of its kind, all in line with helping to address cases that involve sexual violence perpetrated on any individual, to hasten the process and make sure that these victims get the justice that they deserve, to avoid what we have always been seeing, a backlog of cases dragging over the years, and in some cases justice denied, because again, justice delayed is justice denied. So this is part of a series of conversations that we always have here on Good Morning Kenya when it comes to rewriting the narrative. And this morning we have been speaking with Lady Justice Maureen Anyango, who is the principal judge at the Employment and Labor Relations Court. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
We appreciate the time.
Welcome.
All right.
Yes.
So that is that in line with what we had lined up for you today. Thank you so much for being with us. Be sure to join us again tomorrow morning. I am Jain Wambui. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing.